You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Just think about what we're talking about here when we're having this kind of conversation. There's a direct correlation here into how good you are up front on both sides, and then how good your defense is, because we're spending a lot of time here talking about BYU because this is the opponent, but then there's some comparisons to Utah as well. And I know the BYU folks may not want to hear that, but that's just, we're just going off of what Texas Tech has played at this point. But these are three of the better defenses in the league. These are three of the better offensive lines and defensive lines in the league. And guess what? This is how you are living at the top of the standings right now, or near the top, or being talked about in terms of playoff, contender, that kind of thing. So I think that needs to be pointed out too.
Say the rhyme, Chris. Say the rhyme. Coach McGuire's favorite. Mass kicks ass.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
From Mother Goose.
But this is where some of your, because of that size, I think BYU is built to play a very physical Midwestern style of game, and maybe your speed with Terrence Carter, or your outside receivers with Virgil or Douglas or Jacoby Williams or something, maybe that gives you some advantages. I think that I'm not expecting this to be some sort of shootout as much as I'm expecting this to be a bit of a grind and scores to be at a bit of a premium. You're not going to see a 10-3 game. It's not what I'm saying, but this is a 24-17, 27-21, 31-21 type of game. This isn't a game where both teams are going to get in the 30s and 40s or anything like that. I just don't, and the defenses are just too good. So, but that's where I think some of your explosiveness and all that. It's not that it may come into play; it needs to. If you're on the Texas Tech side of things, it really needs to. This is a very good special teams group for BYU. I think you've had moments where you've been really good, with all the block punts. You've had the return for a touchdown off the kickoff. You've had some nice punt returns. You've been able to bomb long field goals away. So, but some of your explosiveness could come into play here against a bigger, very physical football team. So,
and that kind of goes back to yesterday, doesn't it? And what we were talking about in the ground game, and that physical aspect of your offense, maybe opening some doors for explosion as the game kind of goes along, and getting some things loosened up down the field. I don't know, but
and the yards after catch.
Yeah.
I mean, like making something of nothing. This is why, like I think Mac Leftwich said it about Terrence Carter, and we've talked about it. It's like, it's kind of nice to throw him a 5-yard little hitch route, and then boom, 60 yards later. I mean, he's just kind of running over folks and breaks a tackle. But some of these kinds of plays will be big for both teams.
Jacoby the same way.
Yep, I don't disagree with that explosive run he had this past Saturday. And think back to that play that really opened it all up on the first drive for Texas Tech in Salt Lake City.
Yep.
I mean, that's off the script. You're trying to get him a touch, see what he can do with it, and then, boy, it pays some huge dividends. And you need some more of that this weekend for sure.
I liked what he could do with it. Yeah. We found out this is a good idea. Is he feeling a little better? He just. Yep. I know statistically he had a resurgence, but he also looked like maybe he was feeling a little bit better.
I think generally speaking, and we touched on this on the broadcast, they really felt like this was the best they had felt in several weeks going into last week's game.
Mm-hmm.
Just because a lot of bumps and bruises and kind of the football beat up and the whole thing. And I think last week's injury report going into that game, it was really, hey, Barron's back, Terrence Carter's back, Will Jados is going to play. Yes, you lost Will Hammond. Yes, Skylar Go-Howard is out, but there was not any kind of, and then you kind of, you leave this game and, there was some battling through it with Carter and Morton and all that, but it's just football stuff. But everybody finished the game, and even Amir Boyd got looked at and all that, but he returned. And I think they will come into this game about as available as I guess we'll see what these reports look like as the week goes along, but they should be okay.
First, today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly feel the call of the stadium. That's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. And with the money you save on tickets, you can then splurge on foods, drinks, gear, and more. Gametime makes it all possible. And best of all, Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get the first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. And if you're like me, you get tired of endless scrolling trying to find the best deal, and that's why Gametime's Zone Deals is the go-to move, since it automatically picks the best seats in your section for you at the best price. And as always, you can get a view from your seat right there in the app. So before you buy, you know exactly what you're going to see. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use our code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use our code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, Locked On College, for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets at the lowest price, guaranteed. Is it a crazy question to ask if, even though Cash Cleveland was a second choice to begin the season, that a healthy Cleveland versus sort of a dinged up Jados could ever be a choice starter wise, or do you think we just kind of continue to see maybe both in the mix?
Great question, and I think Will is healthy enough to play. He was healthy enough to play last week. But yes, what you are asking is 100% of Cash Cleveland better than insert number here percentage of Will Jados right now? Will's been dealing with a shoulder issue all season. I think he's played good. I think he's struggled with it at times. And I think they're not trying to – but I think it's maybe something they're just going to have to like live with and deal with whenever you can, which is going to be another 6 to 8 weeks or whatever it is. So great question. I think that it wouldn't surprise me if Cash Cleveland starts. It wouldn't surprise me if Will Jados plays until he just can't, and then Cleveland comes in. So you get both, but I think that's what you're looking at right now.
How do they feel internally about what they've gotten out of Cleveland? Do you have any idea?
Well, okay, because he is one that he's very similar to Davion Carter. And what I mean by that is this isn't like when you see the measurables, you go, man, he doesn't necessarily look the part like a normal, but he is very smart. He uses his leverage well. He's well studied. He's got some IQ and he's hard to move. And he had a foot issue, I think, in the summer, and I think he's gotten better and better. And I think he's pushed his way toward the forefront. And, you know, you still have the Holton Hendrickses and the Daniel Sills, and there's plenty of, obviously Vinny Scurry is roaming around as well. But I think Cash has earned this. I mean, he's earned the right to kind of push his way through here and be a nice depth piece that you're utilizing right now. And these are some of the pieces that you didn't have available to you a year ago. Because keep in mind, Cleveland's got multiple years left after this one. So, you're going to graduate Davion Carter, but Cash Cleveland will, and obviously Will Jados will graduate, but the rest of your portal additions and I guess Vinny Scurry would graduate as well. But I think Cash Cleveland's got a bright future here, I guess is my point. And that future is starting now.
Well, I just asked because to me, I was liking what I was seeing from 52, but I've got an untrained eye. I'm not grading every snap, but he looked like he was holding his own, certainly. And we'll have a whole lot more to hold on the other side this time around with these big boys from BYU coming to town. Chris, you and I yesterday discussed a defensive turnaround that I think has probably surpassed all expectations, even the most optimistic expectations, as we ran down for various reasons. And I wanted to, before we got out of here, share this thought from Texas Tech defensive coordinator Shill Wood,